So we're going to start looking at what data files actually look like, how they're structured, and kind of what are the pieces that make up with them, and then we'll start talking about things that we can do with these files. So when we talk about data, almost exclusively what we're talking about is tabular data. So the sort of thing that you see in Excel, okay? So tabular data has rows that go across, okay? So this is a row, and it has columns that go down. So this is a column. And generally, if we are looking at well-formatted data or data that's in good shape, what we're going to see is that the first row contains our column headers. So these are called column headers: player name, age, position, and these tell us what kind of data or what the data is that are in these columns. So this is just a little example data set. It's got all the different NFL or NBA players, and then we have different information about each one. So our columns are here, and our rows are going to each describe one thing, okay? So this row describes Aaron Brooks. The rows in your data set might be the states in the United States and then have different information about them, but each row is just going to describe one thing, and then these are going to be attributes of that thing or information about that thing. Now, when we start looking at what is actually in these cells, so this is a cell, right? It's the intersection of one row and one column. So this tells me Aaron Brooks's age. We talk about these cells containing data of different types, okay? So age is numerical data, okay? It's a number. I can do math with it, okay? I could take the average of these and find the average age. Okay, numerical data, I can add and subtract it, okay? It's something that I can do math with. Player name, we're going to say, is just text data, okay? It's letters. We can't do math with it. And importantly, it's not something that we're going to kind of like group by. We assume that player name is basically going to be different for every player. And that's not the same for position, okay? Position is a categorical data type. And categorical data means that we're picking from a specific set, okay? There's a certain number of positions, and that's the only data that can go in this column, okay? So I said that the values in this column have to be either point guard or center, power forward, or these different positions. So that's how categorical data is different than textual data, and it's an important distinction for a couple reasons. When we start analyzing data more, categorical data becomes very important, okay? I can group by categorical data. So I might say, well, okay, how old are most people in the NBA? But it might be a lot more interesting to say, are centers older than power forwards? And so categorical data can be really important for that reason. It can also be really important if you're entering data or creating a data set for yourself, because it becomes very important that your categorical data is always typed the same, right? So that everything is always spelled the same and you don't have any variance there. Okay, so we have numerical data, text data, categorical data. Take 1 second and think about this tattoos column. So what kind of data goes in this column? Okay, it's categorical data. And again, we could then group by players who have tattoos and players who don't have tattoos. The only kind of data that we will really deal with in this class that's not in this spreadsheet is you might have date data. And that's kind of a special data format that will become relevant if we start making line graphs and things like that. But for now, we just kind of treat it as a separate thing. Okay, so in the next video, we'll start looking at how to actually work with these things in Excel.